How the hell are you, YouTube? How are you doing? You doing good? I love to hear that. Today we are back with another banger video. We're going to do a lot of learning today. Carlton, what's today's topic?
Today's topic is on-page SEO.
Amazing. Super important stuff. Even, guys, I know there's some rumors out there that SEO doesn't matter anymore because of AI. That is a lie. The truth is that ranking in AI search, truthfully, it is just really good SEO. So I'm sure we'll talk about that a bit. But Carlton, let's get into the topic.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into what on-page SEO is. So on-page SEO is basically the practice of optimizing individual pages on your website, including the content, the code, the images, the user experience, optimizing it for higher rankings on search engines. So basically it covers keyword optimization, metadata optimization, title tags, header tags, internal linking. So a lot of the technical SEO components. However, at Carbon Box Media, we do on-page SEO a little bit different than traditional SEO agencies. And here's how. So with traditional SEO, again, it's very technical. You're changing headings, you're adding keywords, sometimes stuffing keywords into your page, which is not a best practice. And the reason it's not a good practice is because it can degrade the user experience. You have to remember, people come to your website to buy, to have an experience, to buy or to engage with your service. And for them to do that, they need to have certain questions answered, right? They have certain questions they need answered. They need to have a certain set of beliefs in the value of your product or service to actually buy. So today we're going to go through both the technical on-page SEO components as well as how you can improve the user experience on your pages. We're going to show you guys actually a live example with a client of ours so you can see it in practice. Cool. So what we're looking at here, Brandon, number one is our on-page SEO checklist. We're going to go through a number of different items like keyword optimization, title optimization, above the fold optimization, navigation, our conversion framework, and product or collection page entry points. Lastly, metadata as well, and then image optimization. We're going to show an example of a client store that we recently redesigned. This is the new version of their website. And then here we have the old version of their website right here in this tab. So what I'm going to do is show you why our new version performs better from a UX perspective and an SEO perspective. Sound good?
Sounds incredible.
Awesome. Cool. So step one that you need to follow for SEO is what we call keyword mapping. So you need to figure out what are the specific keywords that your brand has the best chance of ranking for, and then also converting visitors for. So we have this cool Chrome extension called Detailed SEO. And here we can see the title tag for our page: healthier smoking, innovative weed pipes, accessories, and parts. So let's go ahead and break that down. Basically, we have the unique selling proposition, healthier smoking, and then we have the product here. In your title, you want to make sure you're always including both of those things, the unique selling proposition. So if you're a local business, it might be that it's where you're located, of course. If you're an e-commerce brand, it's your USP, why people should buy your product versus the competitors. And then you want to have the target keyword for that page, your homepage in this case, as well in the title. Same thing, the description, the unique selling proposition, as well as the target keyword, which is weed pipes.
Cool.
All right, Brandon. Yeah, so let me break it down for the layman in the room. So basically the title here and the description, this is how your website appears on Google search. So it's the gateway for your brand. So for Weedjets, we have a couple different pages here. We have their main weed pipes collection, and then we have their homepage. So let's look at the homepage. Again, the USP, healthier smoking, and then we have the target keyword, weed pipes. For the collection page, this is another page we want to rank on Google. We have the target keyword, which is pipes, and then we have a USP, which is better filtering and cooling options. So this is going to be a lot more enticing, getting people to click on our page versus competitors. So that's the title. That's the entry point for your brand. The next thing we're going to have is the H1 tag. This is an opportunity for you to add the target keyword or go with a unique selling proposition as well. The USP is smoother, cooler, safer hits every time. Then we also make sure that we have some keywords in the sub headline here, the cannabis pipes keyword here. That's a synonym. So this is giving us the opportunity to have synonyms, unique selling propositions, and call to actions above the fold. Again, this is what a lot of SEOs miss out on when building websites is they don't really factor in the user experience. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And but do you have the old landing page that we could look at and just compare the two headers?
Yeah, absolutely. So here is the old version of the homepage. So you can see same headline. We have a description here, a subheadline, excuse me. But what we
Mhm.
can see is different is a few things. Number one, we have this nice video here on the right side. I'm a fan of using videos. I'm also a fan of using a two-column structure where you have a video or an image here in the above the fold to show the product, to show people how it works, show people what the experience looks like, unboxing the product, using the product, of course, and a little bit about the technology of why this product is superior. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. A video has to be worth at least 10 times that, right, Brandon? So that's why
Yeah,
we have that here.
that's incredible. Okay, yeah, like just as a novice, like just looking at both of these, above the fold sections, um,
Hmm.
this one just looks so much more visually appealing, and this I feel like I'm already gonna have a better experience. I feel like sometimes to specific to your to this industry where it's weed, there's kind of like at least from my experience, there's a hesitation of like if someone doesn't look super legit, I'm like, where are they getting their weed from, or like where is this product really sourced from? And I feel like that old landing page feels more like aren't they just drop shipping this? But this feels premium. This feels like they're,
Hmm.
really designing these products and actually have a purpose behind it. So I think like not only is like are you crushing it with this SEO, but also like you're helping evolve the brand in real time. It just feels better here, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So once you've optimized the titles, now it's time to optimize the above the fold section. So you have to remember that 50% of visitors to your website are never going to scroll past the above the fold section in your website. Now, here's where I say we do SEO a little bit differently because we factor in the user experience because that is one of the biggest ranking factors for your website is how long people actually stay on your website and in the case of an e-commerce brand, whether or not they actually make a purchase, right? The higher your conversion rate, this is pretty anecdotal, but it makes sense, right? The higher your conversion rate, the more that's going to signal to Google and other search engines that you have a website that's worthy of ranking in their search engines, right? So let me break down how to increase your dwell time or lower your bounce rate on your website, and of course, also increase your conversion rate. So, number one, want to make sure it has a premium feel, that the design, the branding looks on point. So you can see we're matching the color palette of this brand. We have a premium video on the right that the client provided us with. And what this video is communicating, it's communicating a couple different things, which we have written down here. Number one, how does the product work? Number two, can I trust the product? Is it going to shift my beliefs? Do I actually believe it'll work for me? And this video communicates all those things. It has a premium feel to it. Next, we have some social proof above the fold. The more social proof, the better. People want to buy things that other people like and trust. Second is the headline. So simply, we have a simple rule here for headlines. We like to make a bold promise. What is it that our target market wants? Go ahead and promise that in the headline. Then, once you've hooked your target audience, you can spend the rest of the page proving it to them. So we do that in the subheadline by explaining who the product is for, how we do it. This is called our unique mechanism, and then a little bit more information about the brand, right? So we want to accomplish who the product is for. We want to accomplish communicating who the product is for and how you're actually able to deliver on that promise. Next, from user data, we see that the most common products people buy are the pipe and the one hitter. So those are going to be our main call to actions here. Of course, however, we make it really easy for people to find other products in the above the fold header. And if we switch back to the original homepage, you see we don't have any call to actions. we don't have any obvious next steps for the visitor to this website. They kind of have to fumble around here. And because Weed Pipes is furthest to the left, they might click on that, but there's no guarantee. They might get lost in all these other pages. And the longer people spend on your site without adding a product to cart, the more likely that they're never to buy, right? So you want to make it super obvious where they should go next. And then you can wrap up with some social proof or risk reversals. People are asking, hey, I want to buy this product, but can I trust buying it from you? What is the user experience going to be like? And in this case, we see that we are saying, hey, all products are going to ship worldwide 24 to 48 hours. And this is a big thing here when it comes to gray area products is this messaging here, discreet packaging. People don't want to buy expensive products on the internet with your branding all over it. They want it to be discreet packaging so that things don't get stolen, when they're delivered to their house. Next, we have the navigation. So let's break down these 5 points. Number one, you want to make sure that the nav structure is clean. So what's a clean versus unclean navigation structure? Well, unclean, number one, is multiple lines here. Number two, you want to make sure it just makes sense. It's intuitive. So you can see that we actually consolidated things. We have weed pipes, smoking accessories, bundles, gummies, the blog, and then store locator, right? These are the main revenue drivers for this brand here. So we have spare parts, then we also have filters and cones, but then we also have essentials. So think about it intuitively. If I see the word essentials, I'm thinking maybe I should click here, right? First. However, essentials are not the first thing people should buy from this brand. They should buy a weed pipe or one hitter. So we consolidated all of that into accessories, makes the user experience a lot cleaner. The less options we give people, basically, the more likely they are to actually choose something instead of drowning in decision fatigue. Next, you want to have the search account and cart icons clearly visible. So here's a search bar. We have the account icon and then the cart drawer here clearly visible. The header height, again, needs to meet specifications. So if we're looking at desktop, then it's not taking up too much space on desktop. And then mobile, we have this clean hamburger design, which pops out the mobile header with the drop downs here.
Yeah, it looks good too. I like the way that mobile looks too.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and most of your traffic's going to be on mobile. So in this video, we're showing you the desktop version just because it's a little bit easier to see. But quite frankly, the mobile design is always going to be the most important. So, all right, let's talk about above the fold mobile optimization for e-commerce brands. So here we have a client of ours, their website. We recently redesigned the mobile experience. And let me share why
Uh,
this version is performing better
that's
than the old one.
Do you
So
hear me?
in the above the
That is.
fold
I'm gonna write
section,
that down for
we
the
have
short.
this
I shouldn't have
video.
paused you. My bad.
Videos speak
So
10,000 words, right? Videos to show people what product you sell, why it's unique,
mobile
and it really
optimize.
builds value and
Yeah,
gets
go ahead.
people excited about your product. Number two, we have some social proof above the fold. And then number three, we have a strong headline calling out why this product is superior. So if you have those three things in your above the fold section, your website's going to convert a lot better. Let's go ahead and check out the mobile design for this header and walk you guys through some of the same things. So number four is actually that the main links push to high equity key pages. And you can see we're doing that here. We consolidated again to show the main links that we want people to navigate to, right? Which would be lead pipes, smoking accessories, bundles, and gummies. Again, those are the main revenue drivers for this brand. Weed pipes at the top. This is their hero product. Then we have branded weed pipes, which this brand will launch soon. And then we have here this section that we added to the mobile design, some social proof about the founder. This is actually Bob Marley's son. So you can imagine that's a really cool tie-in for a weed related product. That's social proof, saying that, hey, if Bob Marley's son uses this product, maybe I should as well.
Yeah, that's incredible. That is. I don't know if there's a better authority in the smoking weed space.
Yeah, there really isn't, right? Cool. And then the last one, excuse me, an option is to have an announcement bar in your above the fold. So I'll show you an example from another client. Here's a simple announcement bar, just boom, free shipping over a specific threshold. So I believe their product is a little bit less than $160. So yeah, their hero product is $126. And what this is training your audience to do is to order more, right? So same thing, this brand sells accessories as well. You could also buy multiple coolers in this instance to get that free shipping. So it's important that you calculate your unit economics to figure out how you can maximize the average order value. And you can do that through your announcement bar. Next, we have the conversion framework. So we have our core conversion framework sections. Let me go ahead and show you guys what those sections are. So again, how does the product work? People need to clearly see how the product works. That's why, again, I'm a big fan of videos in the above the fold section. Number two, we need to see trust, social proof. So again, we have multiple forms of social proof. The video, we have this section here. In the mobile header, we have Bob Marley, Bob Marley's son, showing brand credibility and cultural relevance. And then throughout the homepage, let's get away from the above the fold for a second. We have at this as seen in section. We have people holding and using the product. We have this quote here, hand selected this quote here. Somebody saying, "Hey, my chest feels better." That's going to be super important for their target market. We have this video here from their YouTube channel. I think this is actually one of the best forms of social proof. They're at a convention. People are trying the product for the first time, and pretty much everyone's taking a hit and going, "Wow, this is amazing. I need this product in my life." So that's one of the core elements is social proof. Number three is problem and belief shifts. So when people land on your website, they're going to have a certain set of beliefs about whether or not they believe your product will work and whether or not they believe, which this is super important, it'll work for them. And we have to overcome that belief. So again, we make a very bold promise, and then we spend the rest of the page overcoming that belief by explaining clearly how our product actually delivers on that result, explaining who it's for. So people with weaker or impaired lungs, asthma, COPD, emphysema. So being very specific on the different market segments who will buy this product. Again, showing social proof that's going to build trust. We have these feature or benefit badges sprinkled throughout the website to remind people what they're going to get with the product. We clearly explain how it works. All of these things are going to shift people's beliefs. We're anchoring the product against typical traditional smoking devices. Every website for an e-commerce brand should have a comparison section comparing your product to your competitors, right? That's a really simple way to increase your conversion rate. Again, we have more reviews here. We hand selected these reviews from different types of people. So we have a medical professional here. We have a run of the mill Kenneth, kind of an older demographic. We have a nurse here as well. And then we just have a happy customer seeming to be smoking at a festival. So we're hitting every customer demographic. Next, you want to have some FAQs. So it's really easy. If you are a brand owner, you should know the questions people are asking most frequently when they shop with your brand or before they buy. You want to make sure every page has an FAQ section at the bottom, just simply answering those questions. And then lastly is what's called a risk reversal. So you want to be very clear what your guarantee or return policy is for your brand. Now, a lot of brand owners don't like to have a guarantee or a return policy. I completely understand, but you need to have something that's going to show people that they're actually going to get their product and have a satisfactory experience, right? So for us, the risk reversal is just showing them clearly how long it's going to take for their product to ship or to at least leave our warehouse. That's the risk reversal. Orders shipped within 24 hours, and that's patented cough less technology. Cool. So that is the conversion framework that we follow with all the brands that we work with. I'll speed through another client of ours. Bold promise, social proof above the fold. This time we just have a photo showing the product. We have this really cool design with a review here pointing to the product. Looks even better on mobile, quite frankly. Check it out here. So same thing, big bold promise, and then the review and the product still in the same above the fold frame. Cool. So once you've convinced people to actually buy your product, your job's not done. You need to move them to actually going from homepage to product page. So we like to display about 3 to 6 of the top collections and or products with keyword-rich anchor text. So we're accomplishing this in a few sections. We have the above the fold header, where we're linking to our weed pipes collection page, which we have here. We have the new version of their weed pipe collection page following the same conversion framework, bold promise, social proof, feature badges. Here's the old version, by the way, where you can imagine if you come here from Google and you've never heard of this brand, you don't really have any context for why you should buy this weed pipe, right? So again, it's really, really important that you give people a reason, you shift their belief before you actually ask them to buy. So Gary Vee calls this the jab, 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 right hook, right? You got to throw some jabs before you go in for the right hook, right? Before you go for the kiss, maybe buy her flowers, take her out for dinner, for example, right?
Amazing.
So you have to follow certain steps before you go in for the close, right? Cool. So some technical components, again, having internal links, making sure they're crawlable for search engines. So we have some more links here to their hero products, making it, again, really easy for the end user to find what they're looking for once we've shifted their belief. You want to make sure you have image, alt text, including target keywords for every image on your page. Then, of course, make sure that this section is mobile optimized as well. Cool. Next, we have the meta descriptions. So I showed this earlier in the video where you want to make sure you optimize the entry point for your brand. For our meta descriptions, we follow a simple framework. We like to have the target keyword first, and then we like to have a unique selling proposition second. And then if you have space, you can also include the brand name, especially if you have a recognizable brand name, like Nike, for example. Putting Nike is going to increase your conversion rate because people have heard of your brand. You want to make sure that the meta description is about 130 to 160 characters. So you don't want it to be above that or below 70 characters either. And then lastly, the last technical component is going to be your image optimization. Again, making sure that images have proper file names and alt text as well. Cool, Brandon. So that wraps up the on-page SEO framework that we follow at Carbon Box Media to make sure your websites, number one, have the best chance to rank on Google and other search engines. And then number two, have the best chance to convert cold traffic into cold hard cash.
Carlton, this was an extensive breakdown, and I appreciate it. I think one of my favorite things about doing these videos with you is it just reminds me how technical all this is and how important the details are. So I think like if I had to give one recommendation to brands out there, I would say be on the details, and also I would say like get in the mind of your customer. Right? You understand your brand
Absolutely.
so well, you understand it so well, but sometimes I feel like a lot of times brand owners aren't actually communicating that knowledge in the best way
Yeah.
possible. And you just have to do that, and this is just illustrating how important it is. Do you have any thoughts or anything closing before we wrap up here?
Yeah, on that last point you brought up, Brandon, it's really important to understand how your customers want to be communicated to, like you said. So, as a brand owner, you need to know what keeps your target market up at night. What are their worries? What are their hopes? What are their aspirations? So, remember, you're not selling products, you're selling transformations. So, Brandon, one last point I really want to emphasize is selling transformations instead of selling products. It's a big mistake, as you said. E-commerce brand owners, they know everything about their product and they know quite a bit about their target market, of course, but they're not communicating that very well. And how you bridge the gap is thinking about what transformation is my target market looking for. That way, when people land on your website, you're clearly communicating what you're selling, who it's for, and why they should care. We call it the big three. What are you selling? Who is it for? And why should they care?
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Okay, well, again, to the audience, thank you so much for sticking through this with us. I hope you got some value out of it. If you want help with this stuff, if you want us to do it for you, because it seems really intimidating, you can book a call with us in the description, and you can work directly with Carlton's team. They kick butt, and yeah, we will be back soon with another video.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon.
See you guys. Bye.